Welcome to the Sew and Craft channel. My name is Shireen Haynes. I have been selling machines and accessories as well as teaching sewing, decor, craft and digitizing courses since 1993. I post videos with projects, hints and tips, how-to guides for products and short courses too. Look in the description box below this video for links to my other videos and courses. If you would like to know when I post new videos, click on the subscribe button and the little bell icon below this video. If you like this video, please click on the like icon, and also please feel free to click on share, because this will help me to spread the word that sewing and crafting are fun. Thank you. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get the best results when using metallic machine embroidery thread. Please note, this demonstration is done on the Brother NV800E embroidery machine. However, the basic principles should apply to all other embroidery machines too. What I'm about to share with you is based on my own personal experience, and after having shared it with countless numbers of customers, I know that it has worked for them too. Metallic thread gives a lovely sparkly finish to a design, especially if you're only using it in parts of a design. But when you are using it, there are a few important rules that must be followed. When choosing to use a metallic thread, please remember that the thread is rough, so do not use it in a design that is going to touch the skin, and especially not on baby garments. If you are going to use it in a design on a cap, make sure that you cover the back of the design with an iron-on stabilizer like Soft and Sheer or Dimension, so that it covers those rough threads. Now, metallic thread is generally, but not always, used on badges and patches. To lubricate my threads, I like to use this silicone spray. You do get different brands of silicone spray, but this is the one that I will use. So before I start, I just take my reel and then I mark all along that bottom edge. I mark off in quarters. That is so that as I'm spraying the lubricant on, I know that I'm spraying each quarter evenly. So now I just pop the reel of thread into the palm of my hand, and then I hold the can of lubricant about 20 centimeters away from the reel, and then I'm just going to spray. Then as I've done the one quarter, I just turn and I do the second quarter, and I turn, do the third quarter, turn, and then lastly do the last side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let the reel of thread stand there for a couple of minutes, just so that it can dry and so that the lubricant can penetrate that thread. Now the next important thing to know about using metallic thread is that you also need a special metallic needle. Now the metallic needle has an oblong eye instead of an oval eye. Now because it's got an oblong eye, there is more space for that metallic thread to pass through easily, and it won't shred. If you use a regular needle with metallic thread, the thread will shred, and it can also cause breakages of needles. So always make sure that you have a metallic needle in your machine. Now Madeira makes a metallic needle, and so does Schmetz, and those are the two brands that I prefer to use. Now if you can't find a metallic needle, the next best option would be a top stitch needle, because a top stitch needle also has that oblong eye, which will allow the thread to pass through it nice and easily. Now, one other very important point is that when you are using metallic thread, you are not ever to use your automatic needle threader. You will damage it if you do. So, in other words, you would put your thread onto your thread stand, you would adjust your tension, you would adjust your speed, and then you're going to pull your thread through and follow all the guides, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, straight down at number 5, behind the hook at number 6, and then from there you're going to manually thread the thread through the eye of the needle. So in other words, you're going to skip number 7, 8 and 9, which all relate to your automatic needle threader. Now when you're embroidering with metallic thread, whether you're using the 1000 meter cone or the smaller 200 or 150 meter spool, always make sure that the thread is standing upright on the thread stand next to the machine. Do not ever allow the thread to be lying on its side horizontally on the machine. Always make sure that it is standing up vertically. Another important point, when you put your thread onto your thread stand, make sure that the thread is coming off of the reel in an anti-clockwise direction. In other words, it's reeling off that way. Now, every now and again, you might come across a reel that has been wound on clockwise. I must admit, I've only ever found 1 or 2, but just check to see that you don't have one of those, because if your thread is coming off clockwise, then it's better to take this reel and turn it upside down so that the base would be at the top and the top would be at the bottom, because then as you pull the thread off, it would still be coming off anti-clockwise. Now the reason for that is that when they wind the thread onto the reel, it gets wound on clockwise. So it makes complete sense that when it's coming off of the reel, it should come off anti-clockwise, because then it reels off of that reel much more smoothly. Another thing to check for, once you've put your thread onto the stand next to the machine, make sure that the aerial is extended to a point where the thread will be feeding through from the top of the stand to in line with the top of the machine where the thread would normally have passed through. So in other words, the thread would normally come straight across here and then into the threading mechanism. So make sure that it is coming straight across from the stand to where you start threading. So to start with, I choose a design that I would like to embroider, but I'm only going to do part of it in metallic thread. So I'm going to just zoom in so that you can see the design, so that you'll understand which parts I'm going to be doing in metallic thread only. Now on this particular design, what I would like to do is I would like to embroider the green leaves in a metallic thread. Now with a metallic thread, you need to adjust your tension. But I don't want to adjust the tension for the whole design. I only want to adjust it for the green bit. So I'm going to show you how to do that when we get there. So let's just say OK and go edit in, go to embroidery. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the machine embroider the light brown and the orange with the regular tension setting, but the minute that it changes to that emerald green, I'm going to show you how you can temporarily change the tension setting just for that one color. Now that the machine has finished embroidering the first two colors, they've moved up off of the screen, and now I'm at the emerald green, which is what I would like to embroider using the metallic thread. Now, when you embroider with a metallic thread, you need to adjust your tension. The reason being is that the metallic thread is actually made from a metal, and it needs a little bit more space in between the tension discs so that it can flow through the machine freely. So in order to change the tension, we don't want to go into the machine's tension settings or the machine settings to do that. We just want to temporarily change this top tension for now. So if I go there, you'll see it is currently set at the default of 4. Now, because the metallic thread needs more space, I need to decrease the tension. Now, to decrease, we're going to touch the minus. Now, I know that 3.6 is ideal for the Madeira metallic thread, but you would need to test yours first, depending if you were using a different brand of embroidery thread. So I've set that now at 3.6 because that is going to allow those little tension discs just to open a little bit wider so that the thread can pass through them. So all I need to do now is say OK, and then I'm going to thread my machine, and then I'm going to embroider with that green. Now that we've reduced the tension to suit our metallic thread, we also need to do one more adjustment, and that is to the speed of the machine. So I'm going to go into the settings, and I'm going to scroll through until I see the embroidery speed. Now currently it's set to the maximum, which is 850, but I want to drop it right down to the minimum, which is 350 stitches per minute. Now it's always advisable to stitch at a very slow speed when you are using metallic thread. The reason being is that this isn't smooth and silky like your regular embroidery thread. It is actually a metallic thread which sometimes jerks if it is being fed through too fast, and that's when you also end up with bent needles, broken needles, and snapped threads. So always remember to reduce your speed. Now that the thread has been lubricated, the metallic needle is in the machine, the thread is on the stand next to the machine, and the needle has been manually threaded, the machine tension has been reduced, the machine speed has been reduced. Now I can embroider my green leaves. Now once I have embroidered the green leaves with the metallic thread, I will continue to embroider the rest of the design in regular embroidery thread. But before I do, I must reset the speed and the tension settings. So let's continue. So now obviously once we have finished with the emerald green, then we would have to go back and we would have to go to our embroidery speed again and adjust it back up to the regular speed for the regular embroidery thread. Now that our speed has been reset, we also need to reset our tension. So we have to increase the tension back to the default setting for our regular embroidery thread. So once that has been done, we simply just say OK, and everything will be back to normal. And now that everything is back to normal, I can simply carry on and embroider the last parts of the design with my regular embroidery thread. So here is our end result, and you can see that the metallic thread gives that lovely sparkly finish, but it is very important that you follow all of the previous hints and tips in order to achieve a perfect result. If you have found the hints and tips in this video to be useful for you, please remember to subscribe to my channel and also click the little bell icon below this video, because then you will get all the latest news and videos first. I have also created a short course that is available, and that is called Embroidery Hints and Tips. You'll be able to find the link to this course in the description box below this video. If you would like more information about Zonecraft, please visit the website at the address on this page. Also on the website homepage, there is a link to the Facebook page. So if you go to the Facebook page and like it, you will have access to even more hints, tips and projects. You can also join the email list from the link on the website homepage too.